This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
Hi, this is Kuro with the MANIC channel.
This is David.
And this is special edition Caligula boy. Thank you, green screen effect. Work as terribly as possible. Also known as Spencer.
Yep. And before we get into these couple topics we have today, which is Persona 5 Steelbooks, Sony banana controllers, and Caligula effect stuff, why don't you give everybody the quick elevator review, not the elevator spiel about your channel.
Okay, so I'm with the MANIC channel. I talk about Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, I just review games and stream. That's it.
I'm David. I'm trying real hard to become the ATLUS reference when it comes to news, and yeah, love my ATLUS content. And I'm a big member of the SMT 5 2021 game as well. I have to mention that.
Did you start a vlog channel?
I should, but no.
Okay, I see a David M channel here. That's why I was like, oh,
yeah, it's just a channel for like side content that people want to see, but that I don't necessarily want to put on the main channel.
Oh,
like
okay.
Unboxings and stuff like that. So
understood. I was like, man, did you start a vlog channel? I didn't know about it. No, it's your side content. Got it. Okay.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so my channel has no fun name. It just has my boring, real slave name. So if you enjoy stuff like ATLUS games, or Caligula games, or Vita games, or Steelbooks, you know, man, just come here, have a bad time. Expect very low production costs, but you might learn something and put it on your podcast news show. That's about the quickest spiel I can give.
Oh, you know, that sounds pretty interesting, because I think we're going to talk about this video Spencer put out here where the Persona 5 Striker Steelbook was overpromised and underdelivered by Best Buy and ATLUS together. Why don't you tell people about that real quick, Spencer, since you seem to be the vast wealth of knowledge on that.
I would call myself the expert, but that would assume that other people want to know this much about Steelbooks, which is not normally the case. So yeah, long and the short of it, ATLUS and Best Buy in America only, not North America. Sorry, David. So basically, Best Buy was like, hey, we'll pay you for Steelbooks that you can only sell in America as like a pre-order incentive. And basically, ATLUS was like, cool, we don't have to pay for these, so you can do them. The plan was originally Switch only. Backlash was loud enough, amazingly, 2.5 months ago, to have Best Buy be like, holy crap, can we do a PS4 version? And by some other miracle, without getting into Steelbook logistics, the PS4 version was able to happen. Long and the short of it, about 5,000 to 10,000 Switch cases were made. 1,000 to 5,000 PS4 cases were made. 1,000 to 2,000 PS4 Steelbooks were made, and way more copies were promised than were ever produced. So a lot of copies got canceled. A lot of people kind of being confused, and it was really funny noticing from like the first day of people selling them on eBay for like your normal like 20, 30 to 40 bucks to now copies going for like over $100, which is very uncommon for Steelbooks. Like something we're going to talk about later
Especially
in the well, yeah, but like what's so funny is like normally 9 out of 10 times if you have a Best Buy pre-order about a Steelbook, they will sit on those shelves for years. They still, like, my Best Buy still has Fallout 76 Steelbooks by the dozens. So like it's not something that's meant to normally ever be rare. It's just meant to be like a extended bonus. So
Yeah.
the whole thing just kind of turned into a huge crapshoot if you lived in America, and then it just gets even more worse if you are an international fan, because now you are not only having to fight with all these people scalping these Steelbooks, but there was no international option available to you, so it's just going to be super duper pricey if you want to get one.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get them and had absolutely no issues. And yeah, long story short, I'm happy to get them, but I'm sure Mr. Kuro and Mr. David have some different thoughts on that.
You know, I feel
Didn't get
bad.
him, so.
I feel bad a lot for that. Like David that didn't get it. I know a lot of people, like a lot of my friends from Mexico, that were kind of like, whenever they first announced the Steelbook, they're like, "Oh my God, Steelbooks!" And I was like, the chances of anybody outside of the U.S. getting them will be hard. I assumed Canada was gonna get them too, and then whenever I think Spencer was the first one to talk about nobody else getting them, and I was like, oh man, that
No,
really
yeah, man. No one else cares enough about this game. This game, let alone Steelbooks. Like that. No, I want you guys to know when mine got canceled because I had mine canceled as well. I literally was so desperate. I messaged my friend I know who designed it, the Steelbook, and I was like, dude, I will pay you for if you have any samples, because at Atlas they get like samples for making them and stuff. But like this was such a rushed job that people at Atlas didn't even get any. Like they weren't sent any extras until like a couple days after release, and even then I think they only got like a very small handful. Like employees don't even have this thing unless you pre-ordered it yourself.
That's pretty crazy, especially because I had some of my viewers tell me they literally went to the store to Best Buy and bought the Steelbook cases. I had a guy tell me he bought 3 of them.
That's
He literally went to Best Buy and he grabbed 3 Steelbooks from the shelf and bought them. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even get one for the PS4. I only got one for the Switch, and I'm already thankful that I got the one for the Switch. So I mean, I was one of those that didn't get the other one, but I was fine. I mean, I'm not gonna cry about it. At least I got one. That's how I feel about it. I was disappointed, but I didn't get the other one. I would really wanted the PS4 more than the Switch one because I'm not really big on Switch and everything. So like, I really wanted the PS4 one, but I'm okay with the Switch version. I'll keep. At least I have one.
The cheapest one on eBay right now is a Switch Steelbook, and it's $62 Canadian.
Are you serious?
That's the cheapest one that I can
Wow.
find right now on eBay. That's shipping to Canada. $63. That's 63 Canadian, so that's like 50 US. The
Man,
cheapest
that
one.
sounds bad. That sounds bad,
Oh
man.
my gosh.
I mean, yep.
That was really tough, dude. Hold
All
on.
right, so
Hey,
I
can
think
you guys-
there, guys, I'm gonna
can you
leave
get-
right now.
Can you guys hold this? I got like another one right here. So let me just rub it all over myself.
Oh my god. Hey guys, let's move on to Sony here.
Logan.
Let's get off this salty subject and get onto the bananas here. Look, Sony for some
Before we move
reason.
on, just because I'm curious. So, Chris, you have both, right? Switch and
Yes,
PS4?
I have both.
Okay, so Kuro, what would you be willing to pay for a PS4 one? And same question for both versions for you, David.
I don't think I mean the $20 usual price that people pay for them. Even $30, I feel like it's still a fair asking point. But anything about $30, I feel like it's a ripoff kind of thing. How do you feel about it, David?
I'd pay 20. I'm comfortable paying 20 for each since I'm in Canada. So it's exclusive here. Like I don't know how many people have Steelbooks here in Canada. Probably not a lot of them because they have to import it. I'd be down with 20 each. I'd pay 40 for both.
Yeah, I think that's a fair price.
I'm paying big amounts for like collector's item right now, especially for like SMT and Persona stuff. Like for Persona 5 Steelbook, I'm like, as much as I think it's cool, I'm like, I'd rather pay $40 for something else. I'm like, as I said, it's 50 Canadian, the cheapest one right now. I'm not paying 50 Canadian for a Persona 5 Steelbook. I'm good.
I think the
Yeah.
most expensive thing I ever paid for on eBay was for something that wasn't a game. Because right, like the Steelbook's not a game. I think I paid $90 for the Revelations Persona manual,
Oof.
and I
Wow, really?
still am angry about that. No, the original, the PS1 version, not the PSP version. I paid because I had the game, the case, the artwork, and all I needed was the manual, and I couldn't find like anybody selling just the manual. And there's one guy. Hey, I got the manual here, $90. I was like, oh, really?
Oh wow, that's
The biggest amount that I
insane.
paid. The biggest amount that I paid on eBay was my SMT4 3DS that I got recently, complete in box, and I paid 200 Canadian for it. That's really cheap in the condition that it is, but like that's the biggest amount that I spent on eBay ever.
No, the
I'm
most
so
I ever
happy
spent
with
on
this shit,
eBay.
though.
I got the GameCube component cables back when they were still required to get HD out of your GameCube. That was like $210.
The original ones.
Yeah, the OG GameCube component cables, the
Oof.
real Nintendo produced
But
GameCube
At
component
least you
cables.
have half the variants that you can play.
I do have
on
that, yes.
Yeah,
That was the
I'm
whole
sure you have
reason.
that. Yeah, you do, right?
That was the only reason I got those cables.
If I had that Fire Emblem
Apologies,
7
by the
CD
way. I
copy, would
literally
purchase
had an insect emergency, which I don't think I've ever had. I had someone come into the room and be like, "There's a bug, and you have to get it." And I'm not the only person in the house right now, and it just goes to show the fact that I knew I had to get it. If I didn't, it was like, okay, it's a life or death situation. We have to remove the insect from the house. So apologies for asking a question and leaving in the middle of it.
That's okay. We're talking about the Sony banana controller now. I'm trying to get to this subject. Eventually, we'll get there. Sony patented a banana controller. Like, what in the world are they planning to do with this? They could do like a Nintendo thing and just releasing some gimmicky thing for one game, one time.
So I follow a lot of Sony patents, and I like have for years. I mean, I follow like a lot of just other patents in general from like news coverage. It's not going to happen. It's just one of those things. Like Sony like has patented crazy things before. Like Sony actually had for the PlayStation 4 a DualShock VR controller, which was like imagine two PlayStation Move controllers and they could transform or lock into a DualShock 4. Like they had that patented. Like they've had so many crazy ideas patented that like when I saw this, I was like, I get it. The only reason this is news is because it looks like a banana and it's kind of funny. But it's just one of those things of like, I have zero expectation of this ever actually coming out.
Understood. Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, who?
Oh yeah, it's so weird. It's like, and especially after killing Sony Japan, it's like you're gonna make sure you're gonna fire the people who made Ape Escape and then announce the banana controller.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that. That's ironic.
Man, yeah, that's even better.
Weird
All right.
coincidence.
Let's get on to these meat and potatoes here, guys. The sequel to the Caligula Effect 2, you know, named appropriately, unlike the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, which have no continuation of the name at all. It's just Xbox something, right? Will be released for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch in Japan on June 24th, 2021. And in USA and Europe, apparently. The Caligula Effect was developed by something I can't pronounce, so I'll let Spencer pronounce it in a little bit here, but it's published worldwide by ATLUS. It was directed by Takuya Yamanaka. If I said that right or wrong, don't make fun of me, I'm sorry. With character designs by Oguchi. Hope I said that right too. It was written by Tadashi Satomi, who was the previously worked on the first 3 Persona games. So,
Hey.
what do you guys think of the first Caligula Effect game? And I have actually not played it, so.
I have not either, but I'm about to play it. I'm just about to play it. I'll play it very soon. I always poll on my channel, like the community page, what game I should play. And I recently, like this morning, I polled which is the next like JRPG hidden gem that I should play. Caligula Effect was one of them, and it's the highest rating game at the moment on my poll. So I think I'm gonna have to play this one soon. Yep, it's been on the backlog for long, so.
Yeah, I am gonna play this too. I'm literally playing Code Vein right now, but after that I'm gonna play that. That's my next game to play.
Chris,
I'm
dying to know what your interest level is in this, even kind of outside of the development side. Just for like, because I've obviously talked to David and I've talked to Kuro about it before, but I was surprised when I saw you included this here, just because this is just like there's like hidden like cult classic games, and then there's like Caligula. Like Caligula is very like it should be cult classic, but it's so unpopular it doesn't even get the cult part.
So the interest in me on this game started with the fact that I played the first 3 Persona games and I really liked them a lot, and I was curious what had happened to the original, the original creator of like the creative director behind the Persona games. Like, what the heck happened to this guy, right? And then this game showed up, and I was like, oh, this exists. So I started watching reviews on it for like a solid like 2 days. Like 2 years ago, I watched these like a ton of reviews on this original Caligula Effect, and it was like, yeah, it's like Persona, but not as good. And I was like, what? What do you mean it's like Persona, but not as good? That's like a horrible description for a game. Like, that tells me nothing.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many games have been described as it's Persona, but it's not really.
There's so many.
Oh man, my favorite will forever be Shin Megami Tensei 4 being Persona, the Dark Souls of Persona.
No, I have a better one. 13 Sentinels. 13 Sentinels is Persona with robots.
It's not though. It's like
That's
so
it.
different. It's so different. Like honestly, I
It's
can't
not
imagine a
official
game
at
being
all.
There is
more
a
different
real
than.
article with the
Yeah, I
title
saw it.
in
You posted it on Twitter. I
Persona
think.
5. No, I think it's not Persona with robots. It's like Persona 5 with robots. It's even worse.
Because everything's compared to Persona 5 now. Nobody remembers that 4 and 3 exist anymore.
Gonna
Not
try
in
to find it
the
again.
journalism
Yeah, it's
space.
Persona 5 with robots.
Persona 5 started Persona series.
Yeah.
So Kuro and Chris, I was talking to David about this when Caligula 2 got announced, but for you guys, when Caligula 2 got announced for the West, were you really aware of it? Because it had been announced at the Nintendo Direct a couple of weeks back, and it had actually been leaked for months and months and months before. But like I said, if you weren't following, if you're not the 13 Caligula fans out there in America, like you're not really going to be kind of keeping up to this. So like when the Western version got announced, were you following it before at that point, or did like what kind of sparked it?
I knew about it for a while. In fact, I knew about the rumors about the second game coming, but because every review or everything that I heard about it has been like mostly negative, I haven't seen something that really gets me kind of like super hyped about it. Other than the trailers themselves, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I want to check it out I want to judge the game for myself. But honestly, like I haven't heard enough positive to be like, man, I really need to jump into this game right now.
So the funny thing, at least for me, as I guess I'll just be like Mr. Like this shows like how much of dumb comic book I am for Caligula Effect outside of having the copies. So Chris, this game, even though the box in the corner says Furuyu is actually not the developer, even though that's what everyone, even NIS, says is the developer. Furuyu is actually the Japanese publisher. They do lots of they're like. Think like what ATLUS used to be circa 2008. That's what Furuyu is now in Japan. They're a very like mid to low tier publisher. They do a lot of budget games. But the first Caligula game on Vita, specifically, that was originally developed by Aquaria. So Aquaria has done a lot of stuff. They're probably most well known for doing a couple of the Sword Art Online games. They did the first one on Vita, and I think the one that just came out last year has a terrible name, but they just did that one as well. So they've done a lot of stuff, and they've done a lot of like different licensed properties and stuff. But I'm actually a pretty big fan of the developer Aquaria even before all this. But what's so interesting is Caligula Effect Overdose, the PlayStation 4, PC, and Switch version. This is kind of crazy. Most people just think, oh, it's Caligula like HD ported to a new system. Well, this is actually a remake. And not only is it a remake, it is a remake in Unreal Engine 4. The original game was like made in Unity, if I'm not mistaken, and they just ported it to UE4 because the developer behind Overdose was different. It was actually changed to Historia. So the composer, director, and writer, who is from all of them are from the original ATLUS team of Persona 1 and 2, they stayed on. Even though the developers changed, those three components are still the same between Caligula 1, Overdose, and 2. But what's so funny about it is then when Historia came in to be the developer of Overdose, and Historia is also developing 2, they are very, very not well known. Like, not like in a bad way, of just like their work is we make VR things in Unreal Engine 4, and that's all they do. And I legitimately think the only reason they got picked as the developer was Furuyu looked at their budget and went, who do we know who is in Japan who knows how to work Unreal Engine 4? Because there's not a lot of cheap developers who make Unreal Engine 4 games there. Like, yeah, there's Tekken, Street Fighter, and Kingdom Hearts and stuff, and even like Final Fantasy, but you have to just kind of be like, okay, well, we don't have that kind of budget. So that's when they found like a much smaller dev. But yeah, this series has like such a weird history of like, even without getting into what the game itself is about. But I'm just like so excited. Like too is I remember I took so much joy, David, when you messaged me last week. Like the day after we had talked about it, the game got announced finally by NIS, and I just thought it was so funny. Of like, I knew the game had been coming forever. I knew it was going to be NIS. ATLUS originally published the first one in the States digitally only on the Vita. But the fun fact is like ATLUS sent Caligula 1 out to die. It was a $40 digital only title after I think it came out 2 months it was a month after Persona 5. Like there was no marketing, there was no advertising, no hype, no nothing. It was just super sent to die. And Fudiyu was so pissed about how bad of a job Atlus did in terms of publishing it, they were like, "Well, fuck you. We'll just go to another publisher who will actually like promote our game and like b like give it kind of a fair shot." So like NIS was able to not only release it on multiple systems, because actually the only reason the Switch version exists is because NIS like paid for it. NIS paid for a Steam and Switch version to come out in Japan. It was only on PS4 for like a year before we got it.
You know,
So,
it's something
I
something
never
really
actually-
interesting.
And
I
I
know-
just go.
Sorry.
I never
Before
answered
we even-
Spencer's question
Oh.
originally. When he asked about whether I was hyped or not, I never actually got the answer to your question, Spencer.
Oh, my bad. So what was like the tipping point for you, Chris?
So essentially, here was my saga with Caligula Effect, and then I'll let Kuro jump in. I don't know what you were going to say. I'm sorry, Kuro. I just want to actually answer the question before I forget what I was going to say. Like back when I got my Vita and I got Golden, I wanted another experience like Persona on the Vita. So I looked up Caligula Effect, and at the time I looked it up, Caligula Effect Overdose was already out when I finally got a chance to look this game up. And so I was like, oh, it's got to be on the Vita, right? Because they did Overdose. It's like a Golden type of thing. It's an enhanced version. And I realized it wasn't. I was like, oh, it's not on the Vita. And at the time, I didn't have a PS4. I didn't get the PS4 until 2018, 2019. So I don't know. It was way after everybody else did. It was like PS5 is imminent. Okay, time to get a PS4. That's pretty much
Makes
my
sense.
experience. Yeah, but so then I decided I was gonna wait until I get my PS4 to get Overdose, and then by the time I got my PS4, I forgot about Overdose.
Well, and that's what's so exciting about like how different they are, and like it's not like it's just like a royal or a portable system. Like I'm really excited of once the summer kind of comes out, it's going to be pretty slow in terms of like RPG news and stuff. So I've kind of like dedicated myself to like, okay, this summer I'm going to do, and I'm calling it the Summer of Caligula, which literally nobody has asked for, but it's just going to be like an excuse for me to finally like sit down, shut up, play both games, review it for the channel, talk about the upcoming sequel, because it's going to come out in Japan over the summer and we're going to get it in the fall. But it's just going to be one of those things of like, I know like nobody in the West, especially in the RPG spheres, are really hyped for it, but like even though like I know I have a very small footprint, I would like to get like more fans on there, because I literally think that more SMT fans would be Caligula fans if they gave it a shot, but it's just kind of, it never really got out of that sphere of, oh, it's just another like knockoff, as opposed to it has a lot of really good roots. Like the biggest problem the game has always had is always just it's a game with big concepts with a little budget, and I don't think that's going to change with the sequel. But the sequel at least seems to already be taking steps that like even the first game like didn't really do.
That's pretty interesting. One thing that I wanted to mention, that was the only thing that I had to add into this conversation, is the game was published in Korea by Arc Systems. As I'm looking for the reason why I'm looking for that is the Korean version does have English subtitles and it's $25, so I'm gonna buy it right now.
Yeah, just a bit of a heads up for anybody out there who wants to play the game. It does have some performance issues on the Vita version, but it is a wholly unique version. You can only play there. Overdose, the PC version is okay, but a little spotty, mostly in the performance-wise. The Switch version's really rough. If you want to like have a fever dream nightmare of what SMT5 might look like, just play Caligula Effect and squint your eyes, I guess. But what's funny is on PS4, Caligula Effect is like, it's okay. It's like the PC version. You're gonna have some slowdown there. But if you like want to like have the equivalent of a Volkswagen with the engine of Ferrari in it, just play Caligula Effect Overdose on your PS5. Smooth 60, no problems. Like it like runs the best it's ever looked, and it's like, of course, because it's on this machine that is never like it was never designed to be running on this powerful hardware.
So wait, was Overdose actually put on the Vita and I missed it?
No, Overdose is not on there.
Oh, okay,
Overdose
that's what I thought.
It's just
Okay, this is like the greatest unboxing of a game I've ever seen in my life. Like, I would never have expected this person to be into Overdose or Caligula Effect.
Yeah, have you never like? Did you just like stumble across Britta's channel for the first time?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's really funny. You have okay, so like she kind of blew up like last year I don't remember like who shared her like video or something on Twitter, but like I've known her. She reached out to me on my personal account on Twitter because she knew I was really big into like PlayStation Vita stuff, and she's in a little like DM group chat on Twitter that I'm in, just called like Vita Island. And it was really, really funny. Like she'd had her channel for a long time before, and just like somebody just randomly found her. It was like, "Look, guys, it's my grandma. She like JRPGs," and it was so weird. Like when I saw that, because it was like I've just known her and like talked to her casually for so long. It was so weird to just see her blowing up. But it's like, yeah, it is funny of like when you see this lady. It's like it's this nice, sweet lady who I think she lives in like New Zealand or something. Just like, yeah, she's really, really into like collecting Vita and JRPGs.
That's pretty cool. I always like to hear those kind of stories, like this Karen grandma. Have you guys heard about her?
Yeah, she's gonna be actually physically in the next Elder Scrolls game. They putting her in there.
Yeah. She made a post about how she was probably not gonna be alive when the next game, when next Elder Scrolls game comes out.
That's not even a post. That's just a threat. She said, "You better get this game out before I'm dead."
They've already like showed her the 3D model they're going to use in the next game for her too, which is it's really cool. But that's some really cool things, and then they have Fallout 76. So,
dude, yeah.
Anyways, the last thing I wanted to say about this was I'm definitely gonna have to go back and play this now. That's where I'm at, Spencer. I gotta play this game finally. This one I will play. I probably won't ever go back and play the other one I was considering, which is Conception 3. I probably won't go back and play that one.
You mean 2? No Conception 3, sadly. We only have... There's the original one on PSP.
I thought it was 3.
2 on 3DS. No. There's only... So it's kind of weird. 1 never came out in America.
Yeah, I knew that.
2 came out on Steam through some other company, 3DS and Vita through ATLUS, and then the first Conception got remade on PS4, but hilariously is actually censored because that's when the Sony don't like anime titties thing started. So the PS4 one is not 3; it's a remake of 1 with actually less content.
Gotcha.
Can we talk about how ATLUS has published a lot of their own Persona clones? Like,
oh my god, yeah, back in the day, they were their best competition.
I made a video a long time ago about like all the Persona, like the most popular Persona clones, which is why I know about Caligula, and it's just really funny how they even published a lot of them. Like I'm like, oh, you'll just take the money.
They're like Microsoft. We just like everything that makes us money. Anyways, you guys have anything else you want to say about Caligula Effect?
I'm just gonna try it out. I mean, I'm really curious. I heard so many bad things. Have you guys heard anything positive, like in like the good aspect of it?
Yeah.
Most
the music's great. The music's great. The story's a little all over the place. Like I think the thing is, it's not like everybody shits on it. It's just there are so few people talking about it that the people who are playing it and just kind of like, nah, like they're probably not going to like. It's like how the vocal minority thing always kicks out. The people you see out there are the only people who played it and were like so disappointed or whatever. But like, it's not like it like reviewed and was like, oh my god, this game's broken, busted, it's ugly, like blah blah blah. Like there's a reason there's a Caligula too. Like they wouldn't just be making a sequel because like Spencer liked it.
Yes, they would, just for Spencer.
Yeah, let's just make it just for Spencer to enjoy a second game. By the way, the game is $20 on Switch right now.
Digitally, mind you. Yeah. The physical version I think goes for like 70 to 90. Unfortunately,
that was the other reason I didn't pick it up. Yeah, that was why the secondhand market was not kind to me.
Yeah, same.
Switch physical collecting, man, it's tough out there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, pretty much at this point, anything ATLUS that's coming to the Switch that I want, I'm like, okay, pre-order so I don't have to pay $80 later.
Right.
You can fuck Catherine clearance though.
Oh yeah. That one was worthless because you can't even, like if you wanted that game, you could have waited a month and paid like half the price.
Right.
Oh.
You know what game would do really well on the Switch though is 13 Sentinels if they ever did that one. I think that you don't think that would have a rebirth on the Switch?
Never.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's all vanillaware. Vanillaware never ever ports their stuff. They're sitting on money, but you got to remember their team is so small that they're just gotta be like, not worth it. We're good.
But Yeah. But they supported the Wii, and the Wii was kind of like the Switch in a way, where it kind of appeals to a different audience. So I'm like, maybe, but I don't know.
The only reason Muramasa went to went to Wii first was because the developer the publisher Ignition Entertainment and Marvelous in Japan literally told them, "Hey, you can't put this on PlayStation. Like, we have a deal with Nintendo. You got to put this on there." And hilariously, it sold like nothing. But it was one of those funny things of the one time they went on a non-PlayStation, it just did terribly. And honestly, it sucks for me to say this, and I hear this a lot. Vanillaware games, I guarantee, would not get enough of a budget or enough attention for them to warrant a port. But I do think they do good enough on Steam with word of mouth. I don't think there's enough Switch word of mouth out there of people who would care about Vanillaware games, but I think all of their games are just begging to be put on PC.
Makes sense. All right, guys, anything else you want to say?
I'm excited for the next topic.
We're definitely going to be reviewing Review LaRue. So, as always, I'm Chris.
I'm Kuro.
And David.
And I'm tired.
And we will see you on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.